The gavel hadn't dropped. The judge hadn't even entered the courtroom yet. But something was already wrong. The lights flickered faintly overhead, casting a pale yellow glow on the silent gallery. Every seat was filled with press, attorneys, law enforcement, and a young woman seated nervously at the witness stand. The tension was suffocating, the kind of stillness that made your skin crawl. That's when it happened. A growl, deep and low, sliced through the silence like a knife through glass. Juno, the black-coated K-9 officer, usually stoic and composed, suddenly yanked hard on his leash. His handler, Officer Ethan Cole, a man known for his near-unshakable presence, stumbled forward, his eyes wide with confusion. Juno's focus was razor-sharp. He wasn't distracted. He wasn't playful. He was working, and what he sensed beneath that bench would unravel a story no one saw coming. If you believe in the power of second chances, the loyalty of animals, or the hidden strength in broken people, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in kindness, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. These are more than just stories. They're reminders of what really matters. Officer Ethan Cole never planned to partner with a dog. Especially not after everything he had lost. 3 years earlier, his wife Emily was killed in a tragic accident on an icy road, a truck skidding out of control, and in a blink, his entire world disappeared. He tried to go back to work. He tried to pretend that duty and structure could fill the void left in his heart. But something inside him cracked. He stopped returning calls from friends. He packed away Emily's paintings, her favorite mugs, even her volunteer paperwork from the local animal shelter. And slowly, Ethan began drifting through life like a ghost in uniform. The department noticed. His supervisors did, too. Instead of reprimanding him, they gave him a challenge: partner with a new K-9 unit. His first reaction was resentment. A dog, he had said bitterly. I don't need a babysitter with 4 legs. But when he first saw Juno caged, quiet, with the haunted eyes of a creature that had known pain, something shifted. Juno wasn't just another recruit. He was a survivor. Rescued from a backyard breeding ring, Juno had seen more cruelty in 3 years than most creatures would in a lifetime. Yet he remained obedient, loyal, and eager to serve. He didn't bark. He didn't whine. He simply followed orders silently, almost like he understood exactly how fragile trust could be. Ethan didn't want to bond with him. But bonds like theirs aren't chosen. They're fated. At first, the partnership was rocky. Ethan wouldn't speak to him outside of training. Juno would sleep curled by the front door of Ethan's apartment, tail twitching every time Ethan stirred in the night. Then, one evening, Ethan found himself sitting on the edge of his bed, Emily's old blanket in his lap, and the weight of silence crushing him. He whispered into the darkness, "I miss you," and in that moment, Juno gently placed his head on Ethan's knee. No bark. No command. Just presence. That was the night Ethan cried for the first time since the funeral. From then on, everything began to shift. Slowly. Patiently. Ethan started eating dinner at the table again. He took Juno on walks through the old neighborhood. He even visited Emily's shelter and made a small donation in her name. Life didn't snap back into place, but it began to grow around the cracks. In the field, Ethan and Juno became an unstoppable team. They uncovered hidden narcotics, located missing children, and sniffed out weapons caches that had been expertly concealed. Juno's instincts were uncanny. And Ethan, finally, was learning to trust again, not just in others, but in himself. But their biggest challenge came with a case involving Lily Ramirez, a 23-year-old waitress who had once been in love with the wrong man. Her ex, Carlos Marin, was a key figure in a violent gang known for human trafficking, extortion, and threats that stretched into the police department itself. Lily had escaped their grip, barely, and had agreed to testify in court. But in the weeks leading up to the trial, she became nervous. She kept canceling her appointments with the DA. She insisted on meeting in open public spaces. "They're watching me," she would whisper. "I just know it." Security was heightened. Ethan and Juno were assigned to the courthouse on the first day of her testimony. Everything appeared calm. Lily took the stand, visibly shaking, her eyes darting between the crowd and the gallery. She opened her mouth to speak and then froze. Her lips trembled. Tears welled in her eyes. She looked as though someone had placed an invisible knife to her throat. That's when Juno lunged. The leash snapped tight. Juno growled louder now, head lowered, ears alert. He pulled Ethan toward the front, ignoring shouts and confusion from the courtroom. The judge hadn't entered. The proceedings hadn't started. But Juno knew something. He tugged hard, stopping just before the wooden bench. Sniffing. Pawing. Barking now, sharp and insistent. Ethan dropped to his knees. And there it was, a tiny black device no larger than a key fob, tucked beneath the bottom panel. It had a blinking red light. A transmitter. Ethan's heart pounded. He radioed for evacuation. Bomb squad. Cyber unit. Everything. Within minutes, the courtroom was cleared. The device wasn't a bomb, but what it was, in some ways, was worse. It was a wireless listening device, transmitting everything to a separate room hidden inside the courthouse utility closet. When the cyber unit arrived, they followed the signal and found another device inside a breaker box rigged to a laptop set up for remote streaming. The laptop had footage from earlier conversations. Someone had been listening for days. The implication was chilling. Lily's life had been on the line the moment she entered that courtroom. Every conversation, every whispered agreement with the DA recorded. The gang was inside the system. And without Juno, they never would have known. The trial was delayed. Security was overhauled. The technician who had planted the devices was arrested after a sting operation. Lily was moved to a secure location, and weeks later, she testified again, this time in a closed session. Her words helped bring down the gang's regional command. 12 arrests. 4 convictions. A trafficking ring dismantled. Juno was awarded a medal for valor. But that wasn't what changed Ethan. What changed him was the letter he received a month after the case ended. It was from Lily. It said, "I don't think I would have had the courage to speak again if it wasn't for that dog. Or for you. That moment when he pulled you forward, it was like the world shifted. I realized someone was fighting for me even when I couldn't fight for myself." Ethan read that letter 5 times. Then he placed it beside Emily's photo on the mantle. The story of Juno spread beyond their town. They were invited to schools to speak about resilience and loyalty. At one event, a little girl asked Ethan if dogs could feel sadness. He paused, looked down at Juno, then smiled and said, "Sometimes, I think they carry it for us so we don't have to." It wasn't about one moment in court. It was about all the invisible moments that led to it. The nights Ethan didn't think he'd survive the loneliness. The days Juno stayed beside him anyway. The case was just the climax. The real story was about healing. About how sometimes, the ones who save us aren't the loudest. They don't come with answers. They just stay. If this story touched your heart even a little, please show your love. Like this video. Share it with someone going through a tough time. And if you believe in healing, loyalty, and love beyond words, subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. These stories aren't just content, they're hope, wrapped in fur and wagging tails. Special request, drop one word loyalty in the comments below if you believe animals can change lives. Let's flood the comments with love and gratitude for our silent protectors. Thank you for watching. And always remember, sometimes the greatest rescue in life isn't the one you perform, it's the one you receive when you least expect it.